What's up, cinephiles? My name is TJ and welcome to Cinemateq. I am a little sick right now, so you might see me coughing and wheezing. Never fear though. I am still dedicated to bringing you the hot film news, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. Starting off with TIFF. Once again, they have announced more films that are gonna be coming to the festival this year. There's like 60 of them, so we have a lot to go through. Let's get into it. Starting with the Contemporary World Cinema program, they announced 40 new films, and we are gonna go through every single one of them. Just kidding, that would kill me. But here are some highlights. Our Lady of the Nile by Atiq Rahami, Atlantics by Madi Diop, Les Miserables by Laj Lee, Baccarat by Kleber Mendoka Filho, and all three of those films, you'll remember, won prizes at Cannes. Chicoratas by my future best friend, Gahil Garcia Bernal, Hala by Minhal Baish, and Balloon by Pema Tesden. And I really wanted to highlight Balloon for you guys. I saw this director's film, Jimpa, last year at TIFF, and it was fantastic. It was a top 3 film for me at the festival, just after Roma and Burning. And so if you have the chance, please go see this film. I think it's probably going to be pretty great. Hopefully. Next up, we have the Masters program, and 10 films were announced for that. Highlights include A Hidden Life by Terrence Malick. We'll be talking about that film a little bit later in this episode. Sorry We Missed You by Ken Loach. To the Ends of the Earth by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, and Zombie Child by Bertin Bonello. In the special presentation section, 16 new films were added, including American Son by Kenny Leon, Lucy in the Sky by Noah Hawley, Seberg by Benedict Andrews, Wasp Network by Olivier Assayas, The Truth by Hirokazu Koreeda, and Waves by Trey Edward Schultz. That last one is an A24 film. Gotta represent the A24 cult. We're gonna be talking about that a bit later too. There were also 2 more galas announced. The Aeronauts by Tom Harper, and The Burnt Orange Heresy by Giuseppe Capitonde. TIFF also announced a bunch of films that are going to be in its wavelength section, but to be totally honest with you guys, I know very little about experimental film, especially the stuff that's being made these days, so I don't really feel comfortable with recommending things for you. But if you're into experimental film, please go check out what's happening at Wavelengths this year, and let me know what you think is worth seeing, because I would love to get some recommendations. Now, while I was away on vacation, TIFF announced what was going to be in the Midnight Madness program, and I don't really want to retread on that since we're already into this week and there's so much to talk about. However, I do feel I need to take a moment to self-brag a little bit about picking First Love by Takashi Miike being in Midnight Madness. Totally got that right. Rob, if anyone bet your life on that, you get to live. So,
why is everyone always betting my life?
Well, I'm always betting your life, but we won this one, so you're good. And I also have to give a special shout out to Dustville Productions, who got in the comments of the video where I predicted the Midnight Madness films that were going to be at TIFF. They suggested that the new Richard Stanley film, Color Out of Space, which features the amazing Nicolas Cage, would be a candidate for getting into Midnight Madness. I didn't think that was a possibility because nothing had really been said about the film since January, but it got in. So good for you, Dustville Productions. And that is what I love about the comment section that we can have on these videos. People just talking about films, letting people know what's coming out and what they're excited about. So why don't we do more of that? And you tell me what films you are most excited to see at TIFF, or maybe just the films that are premiering at TIFF. Because there are a lot. There's 300. There might even be more to be announced. I don't think that they've announced their full Discovery section yet. And there's probably more. There's so many films at TIFF. Moving on, in news that you probably weren't expecting, the film Searching is getting a sequel. That's right, that film that had a pretty definitive end is getting a sequel. Welcome to modern day Hollywood, folks. No details about the plot have been released as of yet, so we don't really know how they're going to approach making a sequel to Searching. According to Mike Fleming Jr. over at Deadline, the original creative team is coming back for the sequel. So that's good, if you liked Searching. Curiously, Fleming also notes that the film will not be able to bring back the actors from the original film, which leads me to believe that this new Searching sequel is going to be kind of a spiritual successor. It will be in the same style and have a similar plot to Searching, but not feature any of the original actors. So we shouldn't expect to see John Cho again, having to find his daughter again. So yay for that. Not that I don't like John Cho, I actually do like John Cho. He's a cool guy, cool dude. All that said, if you were tasked to write the sequel to Searching, how would you approach it? Let us know in the comments. Moving on to big industry news. CBS has decided it's gonna throw down a whole wad of cash and just buy Viacom. The sale is reportedly worth $11.7 billion, and it will bring all of Viacom's assets, including Paramount Pictures, under the CBS brand. The new company will have the totally amazing and original name Viacom CBS Inc. And while this is a big deal, it shouldn't seem as the same landscape-changing deal that Disney made when they bought Fox. Especially for people who are interested in movies, the only movie studios involved in this deal that I can see are Paramount Pictures and all of their subsidiaries. So they all now belong to CBS. The landscape that could change a lot, though, is in the realm of streaming services. Viacom owns a lot of television channels, including MTV and Nickelodeon, so I wouldn't be surprised if this deal had a lot to do with putting more content onto CBS All Access or creating an entirely new streaming service in the same vein as the Warner Brothers service that was previously announced. I also wouldn't be surprised to see films from Paramount Pictures popping up on CBS All Access. The Star Trek films produced by Paramount suddenly showing up on CBS All Access makes a lot of sense, considering that's where Star Trek Discovery and the new show Star Trek Picard are all going to be living. So while this deal may not have major box office implications, it will most likely have major implications on what content you see on streaming services and probably how much you pay for yet another streaming service. Moving on to the weirder side of cancel culture, the movie The Hunt has been outright canceled by Universal Pictures. You will not be able to watch it in theaters in North America at all. The decision came after 2 brutal mass shootings in the United States, with Universal publicly stating that now is not the right time to release the film. According to Variety, this decision was reached between the filmmakers themselves and the studio. A couple of days after the initial report from Variety, Uproxx reported that the filmmakers and studio executives at Universal were receiving death threats. And this is what led to the initial suspension of the film's marketing campaign. And this whole thing is so weird to me because the movie is about like 12 deplorables, like Republicans, being hunted by the elites. But but like they're the main characters. The Republicans are the main characters.
It's about evil liberals.
Yeah, being evil.
Yeah.
And like
As
the
villains,
and these deplorables supposedly like winning at the end if you want to like go back to the plot of The Most Dangerous Game, which this movie is clearly making reference to. And yet they were the ones who were getting mad because they're like, no, we don't, Hollywood's racist. Meh. I don't get it. Now, we did mention at the beginning of this story that the film will not be shown in North American theaters. However, we haven't found anything to suggest that international showings will be canceled, as I assume the film is being distributed by someone else internationally, and odds are this movie's just gonna show up on Netflix in like a year anyways, so it's not dead. Nothing is ever dead, but you're just not gonna be able to see it in theaters in North America in a couple of weeks, which is too bad. It sounded like it might be a fun film. Moving on to even more slightly political film news, Jackie Chan and Tony Leung Ka-fai have come out in support of the Beijing government and the Hong Kong government after weeks of pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. I don't really want to spend a lot of time catching you guys up with what's been going on in Hong Kong. Philip DeFranco, though, that small little channel that we love supporting over here at Cinemateq, has been doing a great job doing deep dives into what's been going on there over the last couple of weeks. So if you're curious about the details, I suggest you go check out his videos on it. In short, Hong Kong citizens are really worried that the Chinese government in Beijing is going to start slowly stripping away the freedoms that they enjoy as being a part of China, but being governed separately by the Hong Kong government. And so a bunch of people, some suggesting hundreds of thousands, even millions on certain days, protesting for democracy. Where do Jackie Chan and Tony Leung Ka-fai fit into all of this? Jackie Chan described the actions of pro-democracy protesters throwing the Chinese flag into the sea as desecrating the flag. Tony Leung Ka-fai, on the other hand, showed up to a pro-police rally with a sign that said, "Support the police." Now, up until this story broke, I had no real idea of what their political leanings were. Since both are from Hong Kong, I assumed that they would be on the side of Hong Kong. And this has led to a lot of speculation as to why Jackie Chan and Tony Leung Ka-fai would take these actions. IndieWire correspondent Tambay Obenson has suggested that the Chinese box office might be part of it. Tony Leung Ka-fai currently has a film that is being released in China, and as we have reported on in the past, The Chinese government is clamping down on films that it deems to not be suitable for Chinese audiences. It's getting really into censorship. So some might see this move by Jackie Chan and Tony Leung Ka-fai as being a calculated move so that their films can continue to be distributed in China. I, on the other hand, don't think this is the case. For example, if Tony Leung Ka-fai simply just wanted his films to be distributed in China without any interference from the government, he would pay simple lip service to the events going on and take a mild pro-Chinese government stance. However, taking the action of holding a pro-police sign at a pro-police rally kind of hits home the fact that this is something that he really believes in, and he's not just doing this to make sure that his movies can still make money in China. And in the case of Jackie Chan, he's not really making films at the same cadence that he was in, say, the 1980s when he was super popular. So I think we can look at the actions of both Jackie Chan and Tony Leung Ka-fai as being how they actually feel about it. And to be perfectly honest, as someone who is pro-democracy, shockingly, I find what they're saying kind of disappointing. But that's really all I have to say about that particular news story. And now, oh, there goes the light again. All right, it's time to move on to the trailers, and we gotta move quick because this light is going to die on us. Starting off with A Hidden Life by Terrence Malick. As we reported, this is gonna be at the Master section at TIFF. It's about a guy standing up to Nazis, and the light died. Woo! This film looks at a man who stood up against the Nazis, which was not easy when you were in Germany at the time. Or maybe it was Austria. I think the guy's Austrian. In any case, it will be showing at TIFF. It already premiered at Cannes. There's no reason not to see this film. And this trailer just got me even more excited for it. Next up, we finally have a trailer for Bong Joon-Ho's Parasite. And I was excited to see this film. You don't just win the Palme d'Or at Cannes and then go under the radar after that. But having seen this trailer, it looks great. I now have a bit of a better grasp of the story that's going to be told and the way it's going to be told. And of course, this trailer has a bunch of little text things showing up in it, letting you know what everyone thought about it, including another shout out to Polygon. Those guys are getting in trailers, good for them. The next trailer comes to us straight from A24, and we have to talk about it because we love A24 on this channel. It is called Low Tide, and it is by Kevin McMullin. The film appears to be about a group of friends, some teenagers, and they get up into all kinds of hijinks when they find some buried treasure. Although it looks way more serious than that. I don't want to imply that this is a kid-friendly film. It does not look like it is a kid-friendly film. Next up, it is another A24 film. They went crazy this week with trailers. This one is called The Kill Team, and it stars Alexander Skarsgård as someone in the American military. Therefore, it must be a sequel to Generation Kill. I will not accept any other interpretation of this film. The next trailer to talk about is Little Women by Greta Gerwig. This one stars Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, Laura Dern, Meryl Streep, and Timothée Chalamet. So it's gonna make all the money in the world and win all of the awards that are possible. With a cast like that, it's just going to appeal to everybody. And looking at this trailer, I gotta say, it looks like a pretty cool interpretation of the novel. I know a lot of people were saying, hey, why do we need another interpretation of Little Women? But to that, I would argue, it's okay to have new interpretations of works that have been adapted quite a bit already, as long as they are original adaptations. And I'm pretty sure that Greta Gerwig is going to give us just that. Breaking news! Just as we were about to start filming this, A24 released another trailer. This one for The Killing of Dick Long. I really hope I can say that on YouTube these days. There's no telling what might demonetize you. This is a release from A24 that I've been curious about because they haven't really released any promotional material for it up until now, and the film is going to be coming out not that long in the future. The Death of Dick Long looks like it's going to be a murder comedy, and I do get some Fargo vibes from it, mostly because of the one police officer whose name I now forget. I'm pretty sure she was actually in season 1 of Fargo, so that might be why. But I'm thinking more of the film Fargo and not the TV series. It's giving me Coen Brothers Fargo vibes. No wait, the Coen Brothers also co-produced the Fargo TV series. It's giving me feature-length version Fargo vibes. That said, make sure to let us know in the comments below which trailer that came out this week that you thought looked the coolest. It's the Parasite. It's obviously the Parasite. It looks so good. And that is all of the film news and awesome trailers that we have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to get into those comments. Let me know what you thought about all of the news stories we talked about this week. Don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you know exactly when a new Cinemateq episode comes out. And don't forget, we have brand new podcasts coming for you in a couple of weeks. A24 Cult and Nostalgia Goggles, they're gonna be great. And that's it, that's all I got. That's all I got for you. Get out of here, go do other things with your life. I saw Booksmart, it was fine.
It's great!